Hey, Robin Openshaw here, back with you for another little bit of sharing about what cancer is and what cancer isn't. You may have a confusion about what cancer is and all the languaging that I hear people using when they're being treated for cancer, if they do radiation or they do chemotherapy. I've heard countless times, I'm sure you have too, they think they got it all. Okay, so this points to a fundamental misunderstanding of what cancer is and what it isn't. The way oncology sees cancer is that, generally speaking, it's a tumor, or it is a bunch of tumors, it is metastases, it is spots on a scan. If we think that cancer is a tumor, then we can propose to someone that we burn it, or we nuke it, or we cut it out. The holistic approach to it is, it's not something to fight, it's not a tumor, it's a failure of the immune system. And so the way a holistic practitioner would approach, and many hundreds of them all over the world do approach cancer, is that they want to rebuild your failing immune system. They want to figure out why it failed in the first place and why some toxicity created all these aberrant cells that got the upper hand. Because cancer is in all of us, but when it becomes a problem is when it organizes into a big enough mass that it compromises organ function, or when it develops its own vascular system, and then it becomes a force to be reckoned with. And so what your oncologist will sell you on is that if we can just decrease the size of the tumor. Now, I get that, and if I were being treated for cancer, this is not medical advice, okay? This is just what I would do. There are times that I would consider surgery. There are no times that I would consider radiation or chemotherapy, being as educated about it as I have been in 20 years of study and research all over the world. There's a meta-study done in 1994. I really like to talk about meta-studies more than single studies, because a meta-study is an analysis of lots of different published studies. And what this study said in 1994, and by the way, nothing has changed, is that chemotherapy fails 97% of the time. Okay, now you may say, this is another one of these odd things that people who've had cancer, or if their spouse has had cancer, say all the time, is, my husband had chemotherapy and it cured him. Just because your husband had chemotherapy and he's still alive does not mean that chemotherapy cured him. Consider the fact that they did a study on women who died in car accidents, and 40% of them had detectable breast cancer. Okay, what this suggests is that many, if not most of us, have detectable breast cancer. Another thing that's important to know is that many experts estimate that we have, in the course of our lifetime, detectable cancer, an actual mass, that if we were to have the test at that time randomly, we would be diagnosed with cancer 3 to 4 times for every one time it's diagnosed. And that means, let's go to the autopsies, it means tons of us have breast cancer, but our body handles it. Our immune system is gobbling up or eradicating small masses of cancer all the time. It happens all the time. Let's go to the 3 or 4 times in a lifetime you have detectable cancer. Well, why is it that we're diagnosed so much less than that? It's because the immune system is built to get rid of aberrant cells. Just like the immune system is fighting staph infection all the time, it's fighting strep in the body all the time, it's fighting candida in the body all the time. All those things are there, just like cancer cells are there. You probably have about 750 million cancer cells. It would be so great if you understood how the human body works and why we succumb to cancer. Okay, when we eat processed foods, when we eat tons of animal protein, when we don't eat life-giving, oxygenating, free radical fighting, antioxidant rich foods like we used to, because hardly anybody eats greens and vegetables and fruits anymore. We don't have those good guys, and we're eating tons of those bad guys with the hydrogenated fats in our French fries and all the fast food and the genetically modified. So when we're doing all that, when we're exposed to lots of chemicals, there's thousands of them in the environment, it's not that things are hopeless, because there are amazing things that holistic cancer doctors are treating people that can get those chemicals out of us, that can really strengthen and rehab the immune system. But there are powerful, amazing things that are working all over the world. And yes, you have a budget, and yes, your insurance will not pay for most things holistic, but I just want you to know what they are, and some of them are cheap, and lots of them you can do at home on your own.